feeding your dog the proper kind of dog food is very, very, very important. This has huge effects on their health. And I know it can get kind of confusing, so I want to break it down for you guys and give you a clear guide as to what you should be feeding depending on what kind of dog you have. So let's start off first with puppies, okay? If you have a puppy, there's puppy food. Now, how old is a puppy? Puppies are from 8 weeks to 12 months, okay? 1 year. That is the age for a puppy. Now, there's puppy. If people have a dog who will become a large breed dog as an adult, a Great Dane, a Rottweiler, a Doberman Pinscher, then we want to put our puppy on large breed puppy food. Okay? And again, they can stay on that same food for 8 weeks to 12 months. Once we get our dog to 12 months, we can go to adult food, or if you have a large breed dog, large breed adult. Okay. Now, why is it so important that we do this whole large breed puppy, large breed adult? Why not just use the regular ones? So, large breed puppies naturally grow at a much faster rate. With large breed puppy food, the balance of the calcium and phosphorus allows for the puppies to have a steady growth and grow. Even though they grow faster, they don't have growth spurts. They'll still reach the same size, but they'll just do it evenly. It's better for their hips, their joints, their bones. Regular puppy food doesn't have that, because regular puppy food is for smaller dogs. They don't grow as big. Adult food and large breed adult food. Large breed adult food, the difference mainly is that large breed has more glucosamine, more chondroitin, more things to help the hips and joints. Now, it's very important that at 12 months, okay, we switch to the adult food, because the puppy foods have a lot more calories, a lot more fats, because our puppies are growing. They need it. They need all that nutrients. But once they hit 12 months, their metabolism slows down. Their growth slows down. They're pretty much done growing. Large breed dogs will fill out. Yeah, large breed dogs here, they will fill out till about 3 years. But regardless, they still need to be on to adult food, because the large breed puppy food would be making them fat if you were to feed them the same amount. Okay. Now, how much do we feed our puppies or dogs? So the recommended feeding guidelines is a good starting place. Okay. Keep in mind that the dog food companies are quite generous with the amount they suggest to feed, because the more you use, the quicker you run out of food, and the more you have to, or the sooner rather, you have to go buy the food again. So always use that recommendation as a starting point. The food that I feed my own dog, Max, I think the recommended feeding guidelines for him, he's around 110 pounds or so. It says to feed like 4.5 cups a day. He eats 2 cups of food a day. 1 cup in the morning, 1 cup at night. So I've almost cut that completely in half. Now, it might not sound like a lot of food, but I'm going to get into the type of food it is, and you'll understand why that actually is enough in a moment here. Okay, but these are some ages. So puppies from 8 weeks to 12 months. If you have a puppy who's going to be large breed, let's say 65 pounds to 70 pounds or higher as an adult, okay, then they need to be on large breed puppy food. At 12 months, we switch to either adult food or adult large breed food. And then at around, on average, 7 years, we can go to senior food for our dogs. Okay? And senior food, again, has more chondroitin, more glucosamine, better things for their hips and joints. Going from large breed adult food to large breed senior food, there's not as big of a jump. However, going from regular adult food to senior food, there is, because a lot of adult food that won't have the same levels of chondroitin, glucosamine, all the other things for hip and joints that you will find in senior food. Okay. So this is a little guide for the times for feeding our dogs and what kind of food to feed them. Now, the actual brands of dog food that you feed your dogs is very important as well, okay? As a general rule, if you see a commercial for it on TV, it's not a good dog food, okay? I'm talking about the Purinas, the Pedigree. Well, let me take this back. There are much, much better options of food to feed your dog than those foods. There's one brand that I see advertising, Blue Buffalo, excellent dog food, excellent dog food. The rest, the Purinas, the Pedigree, what else is there? Iams. There's a lot better options, and here's why. A lot of those, I'm going to call those like, you know, the grocery store foods, because you can find them at Safeway, CVS, all of those things, the big old 40-pound bag of food for $19.99, okay? They think of it as McDonald's, okay? That's feeding your dog McDonald's. Now, you could feed that, you could go, as a human, you could go to McDonald's and eat McDonald's for the rest of your life. Is that going to, you know, directly kill you? No. Is it going to give you health problems? Going to give you higher cholesterol? Yeah. Are you going to put on body fat? Yeah, most likely. Are you going to have other issues? Yeah, because you don't have a good diet. Will feeding your dog one of those grocery store foods directly kill them or cause them, you know, harm? Not directly, but is it the healthiest thing in the world for them? No, not by any means, okay? So what I like to stick with when it comes to food is, you know, the natural or organic foods, okay? It's really not this is the whole natural organic foods for dogs. It's not some marketing thing, okay? It's a legitimate product. The reason why, because these foods have much higher nutrition, as well as no food coloring, which a lot of the grocery store foods have, which there's no point. Dogs don't need food coloring in their food. These natural organic foods will have no corn, which is a very common food allergen for dogs. If your dog is on a diet with a lot of corn and you switch them off of it, one of the things you'll notice is that shedding goes down quite a bit. No food coloring, no corn, no byproducts in the natural organic foods. No byproducts. And the ingredients that they use, almost all the natural and organic foods, the first ingredients are meat, okay? Real meat. Not dehydrated meat, not byproduct meat, it's real meat. If you look on your dog food, you will see on the back an ingredient panel. And the ingredient panel is listed from in order of weight. So if you were to take that kibble and dissect it, the first few ingredients are what makes up the majority of your dog's food. Okay? Now, natural organic food. One downside, which really isn't a downside when you hear the rest of this, is that yes, it absolutely is more expensive. The food that I buy for my dog is a 30-pound bag. I pay 40 bucks. Okay? I could go to CVS and go get a bag of Pedigree for $19.99 and get 10 pounds more of food. Here's why I don't do it. Not only is the food I feed my dog healthier, because it is a natural organic food, because it doesn't have byproducts, it doesn't have corn, it doesn't have filler, the nutrition in the kibble is much higher. Because it's so much higher, I can feed much less. I mentioned that the recommended feeding guidelines for a dog my size of the food I'm feeding is about 4 cups or so, 3.5 to 4 cups. If I look at the grocery store foods, the recommendation is around 6 cups because there is not as much nutrition in that food. So by buying the more expensive food, I'm actually feeding less of it. And because I'm feeding less, I buy this food less often. So in the long run, it actually ends up saving me a lot of money. Right? Now, there are other benefits of this as well. Because you feed your dog a natural or organic food, and because there's no filler, no corn or anything, their body processes it a lot better. Because they process it a lot better, that means but the next day there's less poop because their poop is just is what their body couldn't absorb. So because they absorb so much of it, my dog, sometimes I can't believe how little he poops because his body absorbs that food because it's such high quality. Okay, I mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. With the quarantine, switching to a natural organic food, a lot of things, corn, some of the fillers they use are a big part of causing dogs to have food allergies. So when you switch off of that, if your dog has food allergies, hot spots, itching, scratching, just switching to a natural or organic food can help with that as well. So this whole natural organic food, hype that's been going around, it's a real thing. It's not just a thing that people want you to spend more money on this expensive dog food when you could just go buy this other food. Again, will buying these grocery store foods, kill your dog? No, but it's not the healthiest thing for your dog. And if you're going to save money in the long run, yes, it's more expensive to buy that 40-pound bag of food at the start, but since you're feeding it less, if you're going to save money in the long run, why not just do it? It's going to give you a healthier dog, your dog's going to feel better, you're feeding less poop. It's a win-win all the way around. Alright, so feeding your dog, make sure you check, feeding guidelines, make sure you're feeding the correct food appropriate for your dog's age, appropriate for their breed, and if you can, try to get on one of those natural or organic foods. Just start kind of brushing him a little bit. Good boy, buddy. And you can see he's kind of matted a little bit. Good boy. And I give him a treat. Good boy. Right, let him